Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of It Was Never Personal with Yummy Wilfred. It's me, Yummy Wilfred, your host. It was never personal. It has always been about love, laughter, music, dance, colors, role playing, balance, awareness, authenticity, not taking the ego too seriously, life too seriously. It is all about realizing that this is a dream, an illusion that you and I get to co create with a power which is higher than us. It was never personal. Tune in to get inspired, motivated, and mostly importantly, find ways to love yourself and do so with laughter and joy. Like I said, it was never personal. It was never personal. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. In today's episode, I'll be talking about vulnerability, So, what is vulnerability? Vulnerability is just the ability to actually expose yourself, not in some any other way, but like really opening up, letting people in, letting yourself in, the ability to actually tell your internal thoughts, feelings, and anything that you feel inside, in spite of that fear of somebody hating you because of you showing them your wounds. It is the ability to just open up and be free. It goes back to authenticity. So that is vulnerability. So the reason why I actually wanted to talk about this topic of vulnerability is because of the the dysfunctional pattern I have had in my romantic relationships, and it was as such as I would have one boy. I meet this boy and I'm so and I'm so head over heels, my stomachs are having butterflies. And I never really knew it back then when I was young that actually this is just dysfunctional. Like this is not there. So my point is that I went from one guy to the next guy to the next guy to the next guy, probably around four or five boys, right from when I was 14 up to when I am 17. I think it all stopped when I was 17 because at 18 is when I started to actually go um, look at the situation with x-ray eyes, and I saw that, oh, there's actually something which is off over here. I don't want this. Why am I doing this to myself? So I was running from one boy into the next boy into the next boy into the next boy, and these boys were they're all so good. I really do respect them, and really do love them, not romantically though. I cannot do that, by my ego really wants me to do that. So these boys are very so they're so sweet, they're kind, they are polite. They will do those things which you see in the, like I'm a little gay boy, so I can really flow with the with the fantasy. I'm like Fantasia. So if a boy really smiles at me, it's like, oh, and they're so sweet, they're polite, like I said, but they are emotionally unavailable. These are men, or these are boys who are not there, that they're not ready to get into a relationship. And not only are they not really ready to get into a relationship, they don't really see me in that way. They are like, oh no. I mean, yeah, some of them were like, okay, yeah, we can try it, but then still they have their stuff going on, and I always blamed them. I was like, I'll be so angry, and then I'll just leave them off, and I'll just say, oh, I dumped them. But we never really dated. I know it's really awkward because I said that's a relationship, but there was no relationship because, first of all, like I said, they were so emotionally unavailable. And it was until recently, I think maybe when I was 19, 18 actually, but the real epiphany occurred when I'm 19 years old. And then I realized, oh, okay, so I'm running after emotionally unavailable boys or men. And why is that? Well, all roads led to me realizing that I was not vulnerable. I was not really willing to be vulnerable. And those boys too are not vulnerable. You know, they they were not really there, and just like me, they were not really there. We were all just addicted to showing each other the honeymoon, the honeymoon phase, or the light, just the sweet stuff. But we never really exposed anything. We were all just playing roles. It's like, oh, we're good, we are friends, we're best friends, and then that's that. But we never really wanted to show our wounds. We never really wanted to really go in, and I never really wanted to do that. I'm so scared. Even to this day, I'm still scared to even say some things, but I'm much more better compared to when I was 17, 16, 15, because I was so closed off. So then now, because I'm so closed off, because I'm doing what is called self-preservation, meaning that I am protecting myself from being harmed. Why? Why do I think people will harm me? Well, guess what? I'm this little boy who's a gay boy, and I think this is the story of all gay, most of the gay boys. They feel unloved, and even I did feel that, because I never really fitted in. I never really fitted in. I never really found my tribe at a young early age. Even right now, I don't really have my tribe like that, but I mean, I have somewhere where I get it, but physically on this area, I don't really have my tribe. So then it's like, oh, I always have to fit in because I'm looking for people who are like me, and nobody's like me. And then it's like, oh, you're a sissy, and it's like, yeah, you're a sissy. And then they play with it. It's like saying I'm a sissy in a very negative way. So then from a young age, because I was made to be so ashamed of myself. I was made to feel like I'm so not worthy. And I believed it. I identified it. And then I labeled myself as this little boy who is unloved, who is unworthy, who doesn't deserve to be recognized. So then now I have to fit in. But fitting in means that I have to really um dissociate from myself. I have to play this other role. I have to be this different person. I have to act, and I have to act in a way that I never really expose myself. So I never really became, I was never vulnerable. I was never given the care that the the chance to be myself. I was never really allowed to show myself, because if I show myself, it's like, what are you doing? That is a scene. That is this. Kids are so cruel. Even though I never really faced a lot of negative, so extreme negative homophobia, but I felt it. You can feel it. Even in our family, we don't talk about it. And I remember just how people who I love, they will tell me, can you tone it down? We don't watch. You cannot watch that. You cannot watch two men kissing and stuff of that. So then it's like, oh, okay. So it's not really. It's not a. It's not. I haven't really been given, or they, even my family didn't create that space for me to be myself. So then I have to play a different role, which is not myself. So then to be vulnerable is like, yo, no, you don't do that, because if you open up, they will hurt you. But then sadly, I identified with that type of story. I really saw myself as that person who should never really do it, because if they do it, people are going to hurt them. So then now I'm really running after who? Men saying, okay, I want to be in a relationship, but then do I really want to be in a relationship? Oh, okay. But guess what, Wilfred? You are playing a role. You are this little boy who is trying to fit in. You are not really trying to stand out. You're not really trying to be yourself, but you're trying to fit in. So I meet this boy, and then I'm like, I know what they're going to like. I know what they want, and I give them that. But then now, when I'm done giving them that, and I'm like, can you give me you? They're like, no, I cannot give you what you didn't give me. You didn't give me you. So because I never really gave them myself, they cannot give me their selves. I can only get what I gave. So because I never really I was, because I was never really emotionally present, I was never really emotionally available, then I attracted people who are just like me. And this thing of vulnerability, it spreads across everything. It's not relationships only. It's also in family. It's also in friendships. It's also in my school. It's everywhere, because it's everything. Vulnerability is power. And imagine if something which is powerful is is misused, or it goes unnoticed, like I really did, where I just followed this one guy and this one guy and this one guy, and then I blamed them, and I'm still saying, oh, I'm looking for a relationship, but x-ray eyes on the situation, Wilfred, you are not really ready for a real loving relationship that's worth to something. Yeah, that's the truth. I was never really ready for a real loving relationship until I became vulnerable, until I opened up myself. So that is that about it. So I feel like this is a very important story to talk about, because vulnerability is power. It was never personal. It was never personal. So, in the case of vulnerability, right now, I have some friends, even new friends, and I always try and really include them in my stories. If I feel something, I want to tell a friend how I'm feeling. I want to tell my friend how I am going through my thing and how I'm actually trying to really fix it, how I feel when I wake up. I really want to include them. So I'm always trying to really have those deep talks, those serious talks. How are you feeling? And then you tell me, "Oh, I'm fine. I really get bored." And I really tell my friend, "No, I really want you to go deep. Tell me what you mean by you're fine, because it's a lie. People are really playing the role of being happy when they're not really happy. So I'm really trying to really dig in, and I'll let them in even with me, because I'll tell my friend, "Oh, listen, this is what happened. Today I was triggered and this happened." I remember when I told my friend Notandu this story of how I was triggered and how I was feeling so sad that day. And she was there to listen to me, and she listened so much like a therapist. And I was like, girl, thank you. Because I left there with a very different perspective. I felt very much better. Not only did I feel much better, but I felt connected to my friend. And I always try and do this with all of my friends. Even right now, I just called one of my friends called uh yeah, base, and I was really talking to her. We were catching up, and we really got into that serious talk, and it was fun. It was nice. Yeah, I'm learning how to be vulnerable. But don't get me wrong, I was never really vulnerable with friends like this, because I remember when primary school, doing, yeah, across all primary school. But believe it or not, I never really played the closeted gay boy child. I think that really was because I'm femme. I'm like, "Hey girl, hi," and I have this sweet voice and stuff of that sort. So then now I was really firm, and I gravitated towards femme people. So that means that I'll really feel comfortable with girls. So then now it's like, okay, I have a group of girls which are my friends and stuff of that sort. But X-ray eyes on the situation. Like I said, from a young age, I was never really open to really showing people who I am. Although I had a sweet voice, also, although my walk was sissy, although my way of really saying things was so girly, I didn't tell people, "Oh, actually, I'm gay." They actually had to say, "Are you gay? Oh, gays go to hell," and stuff of that sort. It was a very sensitive topic to that. So, like I said, I never really felt in. I used to want to fit in, but I never really fitted in to a point where I really had to be comfortable with being alone by myself, with being as someone who's really incapable of fitting in, because if I fit in, then I can tell that I really don't feel it. Even with girls, I mean, girls are so, I love them so much. They on the hierarchy of of um of uh of teasing people, girls were never really mean to me like boys are. But I remember this other day when I was from I was I'm going to school. I get in school. It's very early in the morning, and then one of my friends, she's still one of my friends. There's a day, so I guess she's one of my best friends. One of my best friends. She calls me, and then she's like, "Wilfred, come and see this book. Oh, this is what this other girl wrote about you. She said that you are gay, and she's making fun of you." And I was like, I'm like, how do I react? should I say, okay, yeah, I'm gay. So what do you want? Why are you saying this? Or should I go, oh, this is lie. I'm not a gay. Why did you say that? I'm like, should I say yes, I'm gay and defend my stand, or should I say no, I'm not gay and defend that stand of me not being gay? Which, if I took the part B story of saying, oh no, listen, this is not me. Why did you say that? You lied and stuff like that. I would just be playing another role. And I remember how I really went and attacked this girl, No, honey, I did not attack her. I shred her to pieces. And I was really, oh my God. The thing is that because I'm a very sweet, sensitive person, even to this day, I can cry. But right now, I know that it was never personal. But I mean, 3 years ago, maybe even when I was young, I would really cry if somebody gets uh into the house and start shouting. I'll really cry. I'll cry if you step onto my toe and you say sorry to me. I'll really cry. I'll really cry if I say to you, if I greet you and say, oh, dumelang, and then you don't say anything back, I'll really feel hurt. I'll cry. I'm so sensitive. I really do absorb it. I can tell in a room when I step in and somebody's really acting to be fine and shibuki and trying to play the role of being happy, which a lot of people are doing. I can read it because I have those X-ray eyes. By being a sensitive person, I can tell that, oh no, you are lying. You something is wrong over here. I can tell it. If I get into my if I get home and my family just had a fight, I can tell because I'm sensitive. I absorb it. So now, being a sensitive person, the risk that you run is that because the world has the darkness and the light, is that being a sensitive person, you would really absorb the darkness of it. How people are mean and so crazy. The world is crazy and people are crazy. So then, I really did absorb it. And so I was so bitter. I was so bitter, not only because I was I'm sensitive, but also because I was not vulnerable. I was closed off. I had built this um walls, so thick concrete walls. I had the Great Wall of China before my heart, or in front of my heart. So it's like, if somebody tries to poke me, if somebody tries to say something, if somebody teases me, I come out with my machine gun and it's like, grrr, I shred them to pieces. And I was really good. I used to be really great, like great at being a mean bitch. Yeah, I was really that bitch. I was really a mean bit. I was a mean, bad ass bitch. I would really break down those kids. I would read them to filth. I would, I used to really throw a very good shade, and I really miss those moments. But right now, so I'm saying this because that day when that girl really wrote about me being gay and really ridiculed me and scrutinized me for being that, and used it to really bring me down and try and diminish me. So now, because she really hit my spot and I'm like being defensive, and I get there and I really tell her, oh, I told her this awful stuff, and she cried. She cried. And at that time, I saw. I thought it was fine. It's like a tooth for a tooth, an eye for an eye. You say shit about me, I say shit about you too. What did you think? You see, so that is what I did. And I remember, even if you really try and do something to my siblings, my sister had this other fight with this other girl when I think she was at high school. So this girl comes home, they're in front of our yards, just in front, and she's fighting with my sister. I remember, I don't know, I think the girl was wearing a leather jacket, and my sister is over there, and my sister is so little, but the girl is so, and she's trying to really get onto my sister, and then I come out. I'm a little boy. I'm still at primary, just okay. So this means that I'm probably around 8 to it's not even 10. 10 hours we were over there. I think I was really like from yeah, just maybe I was 8 years old. I get out, I really hop on top of that girl who's trying to beat my sister, and then I'm like, oh, leave my sister alone. So that is how I was, like I was really mean, I was really defensive. I knew how to really bring people down who I felt like they were trying to bring me down. But it was only because I was so bitter. I was so bitter. I was so cynical, and therefore I never really let anybody in because I was so hurt. I was like, ugh, this world is so crazy. Why should I be vulnerable in it? And then now the risk that I ran is that I never really had I never really had friends, you know. Girlfriends were there, but I never really felt in with them because I mean, just a while ago, I thought girls were my friends, and then this other girl says I'm gay, and she's using that against me. And the boys who I was still laughing with, I remember when I was about 12 years old, and these guys, I thought they were my friends, and these boys they start talking about how, oh yeah, you will Fred Ali. They really bring me down using my sexual orientation, being gay is like, they really use it to bring me down, and I was really hurt, you know. So then now, because I was really accustomed to this, like people always hurt me, even if I love them, they will, and then I'm like, no, I'm not really going to be open. I'm not going to be vulnerable. So then I really run the risk uh of having friends. I was, yeah, even to this day I'm not really like a great group friends people, which is okay. I don't mind it because I'm much more of an introvert than an extrovert. I really love spending my time alone, weekends alone home, just having fun by myself, but x-ray eyes on the situation. I'm just like that because from a young early age, I learned that exposing myself is not the best way to do it, which is wrong, which is not good because I'm running a risk of actually not enjoying life, not seeing relationships. I remember I met this other girl right now in varsity, and she's a very, very nice girl. I love her so much. Ugh. Yeah. So this is one of my best friends, and we had this honeymoon phase of ours. I think it was probably for, let me see, one, two, probably for a year. Yeah, I know it's a lot because honeymoon phases don't really take 12 months, but ours really did take 12 months or maybe 13, 14 months. So it was all good, it was nice. And then now the honeymoon phase has to come to an end, and my friend is doing something. She's really exposing herself, She's really letting me see her wounds, her faults, and her flaws. And I'm like, ugh. Yeah, my first reaction was like, ugh, I don't want that. I was really ready to pack up my bags and leave the friendship. I was like, this is not it. This is not my friend. Ugh, I don't want to be associated with this person. But then, because of this self help work that I've been doing, I knew that no, the feelings are not facts. Me feeling like my friend is not my friend is not actually my friend being my friend. They're just indicators. So I really saw that, oh no, I'm not willing to be vulnerable. And I'm not even vulnerable, because the moment I saw my friend showing her flaws, I was like scared because that means that I also have to show my flaws. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that. But I survived the test, I survived the trial, and I still love my friend. I'm still with her. I do appreciate her flaws because all roses are are unique because of their thorns, So I love my friend who's a special rose. Yeah, so really do take care of yourself, and be vulnerable. Open up, guys. This is very important here. It was never personal. It was never personal. Now, the thing is that, like I always say, it was never personal. So how does this really correlate with this topic today of vulnerability? The thing is this: if you open up and people hurt you, and people will definitely hurt you. People are crazy, are so crazy. So you open up, you tell your people. Even right now, when I tell my friends about stuff that I wouldn't really do normally tell anybody else other than myself, I'm not afraid of them using that shit against me, like when I was young, and people used to, and people said, "Oh, you're," or maybe we are having a fight, or maybe they go and tell somebody else. That is the thing. The thing is that you don't want to open up to people, and then you'll be like, "But we just met 2 weeks ago. We just met 3 months ago. We just met a month ago. How can I really allow this person to be this close to me? I don't want to. I'm not really ready to open up to them, because what if they hate? What if they hurt me? What if they gossip about me? What if they change? What if we fight and they say stuff about me? What if they spread lies about me? What if they say things that I don't? What if they tell people who I don't want? Yeah, what if they tell my enemies or whatever about what I just said to them, and then you're like, oh, I won't tell them about me. I won't show them my flaws. I won't show them my wounds. But that's not the right way to do it, because you would never really go anywhere. The thing is that vulnerability is power, because people fall in love with you because of your flaws, because of your imperfections, because of those areas of you which are hurt, because we are all one over here. The thing is that we are one. There's only one of us here, and we share the same story, but in different paths. So if I tell somebody of my thing, and then they listen, if they really listen, they can really identify with my story, and they can say, oh yeah, and they fall in love. So just open up and remember that whatever they do from there, it was never personal. Them using whatever you told them about you has nothing to do with you. It doesn't mean you're a fool. It doesn't mean you are weak. It doesn't mean you are passive. It doesn't mean you are stupid. It doesn't mean that you should attack them, and you shouldn't really react with negativity to negativity. You shouldn't fight the darkness with darkness. You shouldn't co-opt. You shouldn't let your ego co-opt into the situation of somebody who comes from a place of fear. Because that girl who actually wrote about me in a book, in her diary, saying that I'm gay and whatever, those boys who really brought me down, anyone who's actually out really saying they hate me, they don't hate me. It was never personal. They hate themselves. Yes, it was never personal. So open up, and so what if they hurt you? Yeah, get over the feelings and just know that, okay, they have to deal with it, and forgive them, you know, and move on. Because for you to actually move on this life, for you to actually just grow, not personally, but also socially, physically, mentally, emotionally, and uh, economically, or at school wise, academically, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be able to open up. We cannot really actually survive in this world being solo artists. No man is an island. We need people. I need you. You need me. So open up. Let me in. I have to let other people in too, and actually move on, because it was never personal. You know, it was never personal. So don't worry if they hurt you, because in reality, or in truth, they never really hurt you. They hurt themselves. Yeah, you know. So now I can really talk about the what I use, what I use to actually guide me on how to get vulnerable, because it's not easy. It's not easy, especially for somebody who is like me, who's really identified with that story of them being such a little boy who is unloved, who's not well of it, and stuff like that. But what I used are this other marvelous, so miraculous self help books. You know, ever since I started my journey, and sometimes I call it my journey, but it's not my journey. Yeah, it was never, I don't even have a life to live. But ever since I really got to realize that I am the dance and life is the dancer. You know, this personality of mine is just a vessel for life to really flow through me. I have to allow life to use me. Ever since I really started doing that and realizing that everything has been so the trajectory of my life has been so from the dark to the light, like I don't really have that those moments of of deep anxiety, distress, depression, feeling like I'm a victim or stuff of that sort, I mean, like I said earlier, I used to be so bitter. I used to be so mean. I used to really know how to throw shade. And, if somebody says something to me, I'll really snap back at them and I'll really press that wrong button. I used to really be that mean person. And, it really showed, looking back right now, it really shows of how much I was hurt, of how much I was not myself, of how much I was really dissociated with myself, of how much pain I was in. And I had to really work through that pain, and vulnerability is actually one of the stages that I really had to go through, because vulnerability again is the capacity to wound, and we only grow from those points where we are wounded, or where we are actually prone to wounding. For example, look at a tree. Trees grow at their tips, at those leaves which are just, they extend from those points of the axial points, which are still fresh, still fragile, still weak, still fresh, still little, still vulnerable, still prone to damage, still prone to wounding. And they grow from those points. There's the lower points, which are wood, there's the bark, and the branch, which is very strong. We do not extend from there. A new branch will really come from that leaf, which is really really fragile and vulnerable. The same thing is with us. We would only grow if we really actually let ourselves to be vulnerable, to open up and really connect and go through that pain that we have, and you have to share that pain. You have to tell somebody, you have to let people in, but you would only let people in if you really let yourself in. And for you to let yourself in within yourself, you have to actually allow yourself to go through the pain. All those things that you really swept under the bed, you have to really pull them out and say, you know what, I'm going to take this one day at a time, one step at a time, one point one at a time, and really look through it and say, why did I really actually, what did I really have to learn through this? Why does this really pain me? Why am I afraid of really experiencing this? Go through it and be vulnerable with yourself, because after that you'll also be able to really let other people in, and let yourself be vulnerable with them. This is nothing that I never really came up with. Anything that I'm saying on this podcast, everything that I'm saying over here, I learned it from the self-help books, from the spiritual leaders that I really do follow. I'm not a religious person, but very spiritual I am, you know and there's this new thing that I really joined, as 12-step program questionnaire that I'm undertaking, and it allows me to be vulnerable with myself during the sessions. I've had two sessions where I literally cried, you know, and I was with myself. I'm just answering a question, and it takes me back to the scene, and I'm crying, answering this question about, oh, what is this? And I'm like, oh, I'm answering, and then I cry. And I loved it. I love it so much because it allows me to be vulnerable with myself. It allows me to love myself. So find whatever that works for you. But right now, what works for me is actually reading the self help books, doing the 12-step program questionnaire, seeing a counselor. Also, yeah, I like to really talk to my friends about deep issues or serious issues, or actually issues that matter. I don't like to really sit around and talk about yeah, I do have those moments where I really do enjoy the fun parts, the illusions. Oh yeah, let's talk about your outfit. Let's talk about your new phone. Do you want an iPhone? I really do enjoy these moments other times where we talk about things which are just a facade. But at this moment, most of my time I really like to really delve on the real stuff, you know. I really like to unpack stuff. When I meet my friend, I want to let them know me. I want to know them, you know. And I know that everything is a every interaction is not an accident. If I go to the shops and I meet my friend, I know that I really have to meet them and I have to go and really see the stage projections, the stage directions from the universe on why I had to meet my friend that day. And when I get there, I have to be present. I don't have to really get to meet my friend and I'm like, oh hi, we meet each other. And I'm still onto my phone and I'm still talking to my friend, but I'm still looking at my phone. No, 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 no. I don't do that. You know, that is what I mean when I say actually when I meet people, when I meet my friends, when I meet my family members. You know, I really wanna get in. I really want to see them. I really want to feel them. I want to let them in into me. I want to let myself in onto them. And that is how I be vulnerable because I need it, you know. And to be vulnerable, guys, like I said, we just have to rewire, to recode the system. Yeah, you know, because that is what we need to actually move forward in this life. That is actually what we need to really go on, you know. If I don't actually take time to go through this and be vulnerable with myself, not only am I going to attract people who are like me, who are unavailably emotionally unavailable, meaning that they're not vulnerable. Not only am I going to attract those men, I'm also going to attract friends who are just like me. I'm also going to attract parts of people who I live with, which are just like me. You know, I'm also going to meet my academics in a way in which I'm not myself, you know, because guess what? I'm trying to really be this other person. I'm not really trying to expose myself to my schoolwork or to my career, to life. I'm not doing that, you know. Yes. So be vulnerable and love yourself. That's what I had for you today. And like I always say, it was never personal. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever you like. This is it. And bye.